Hi, everybody. It's Jessica Brell here. Welcome to episode number 18 of Everyday Inspiring Women. I am so incredibly honored and excited to have my friend Tina Roy here. Hi, Tina.
Hi, guys.
So happy. Thank you for joining us. Tina and I were chatting just briefly before we started this, and I always love to start my episodes to talk about, how did we meet and all those sorts of things. And I was thinking about Tina, and I'm like, and she kind of shared this as well, going like, when did we actually meet? Like, I have known her, I don't remember not knowing her. So it's been like grade school, high school time. We for sure met and cultivated our relationship. I'd say we played on a travel baseball team together, and then kind of have, been in and out and connected ever since. So I am incredibly excited to have you here. So I just do like to do a brief intro. I much prefer my guests to do the intro themselves. They're gonna do a much better job than I do. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Tina.
Mom of two boys, mom, wife, crazy business woman in the community, realtor, local leader in my real estate profession at the provincial level as well. I'm got a lot of balls in the air. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I love it. I absolutely love it.
How long have you been in real estate?
13 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Time flies. We were just talking about getting old.
Right? Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what would you say was like the motivator for you? Like, you know what? Like, I think I want to sell houses, like, and really get into, because I know you do a ton of beautiful listings and tons of waterfront stuff. So like, what kind of was the catalyst to make you decide for real estate?
I was at, when I first started my career, I was at Daimler Chrysler. We were working it felt like 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was just nuts. I felt like my life was out of balance, and I was still young at the time, just getting married. I was like 24, I think. So I just felt out of balance. And it was actually just a friend of mine that said, "Hey, Tina, you'd be really good at this." And it just kind of sat with me and sunk in. And I was like, let's do this. And that's as exciting as that story gets. And then I just wrap my head around it and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So glad. I got started when when the economy just started tanking.
Yeah.
So 2006.
Yeah.
I think it was. So it was quite the wild ride.
Oh, for sure. So what would you say was part of your success for real estate? Like, what, if you had to like narrow it down, like what is it one thing that you say that really helps you be successful in your career?
I would say passion in what I do. It's just, I love helping people. Like, it's just every day. I know one of the things that we were going to go into is like challenges. My career has been some of my biggest challenges. It's just because I love the people.
Yeah.
I love making a difference in their life, and that's what kind of makes me get up every day.
Yeah. Well, and like building relationships with people too, I would imagine it's like that comes part of it, because it's a big part of someone's life, buying a home.
Oh yeah, it's not a transaction. It's a friendship. They call you years later. They send me pictures. Hey, I just did this. Hey, I just built a pole barn. Like, stuff like that is just, it's awesome. Awesome. You see their dreams come true. It's neat.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that so much. So you mentioned, like, you kind of touched on a little bit about the challenges, and and I think that like sharing our story, can be hard, but is important, going, here's some challenges that I faced, because it helps other people really go, oh my God, like this, I've been there, or I thought those things, or me too, So, I would love to hear more about your story and, challenges, successes, and if you don't mind, like diving into that.
Not at all. Not at all. I've led a really blessed life. I mean, things have been really kind of, they've always just fallen into place for me, whether it be work, relationships, friendships, things like that. I have great friends. I have a great family. I haven't had too many hard knocks in my life. And then 2016 was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a kick in the teeth. So,
And
then that's
at age 30,
at age 36.
Yeah.
36, and it wasn't an easy one at all, because it was not a great diagnosis, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So 2016, it was actually January. At that time, I had bought a building to start an office. I had an assistant just start. Like, everything was like right then. And it's like life just got paused.
Yeah.
So it was quite the challenge. I'm coming out the other side, and you never really actually come out the other side.
Okay.
It's weird to explain, but I don't know, how much more do you want me to kind of go through everything, or
yeah. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Like, I think you get the diagnosis, and you're dealing with it. You have, this is 2 years ago, so your kids were 7 and 8 at the time, and and you had shared before we started chat, like, have, like, your partner is a strong support for you, and it's like, how do you deal with making sure that you're taking really good care of yourself when you have all of these responsibilities because you're sick? I think that something I guess I just personally wonder, women have a hard enough time normally taking care of themselves, and then putting into the situation where your health is at risk, and going, like, how do you deal with that? Yeah
For me, again, it was a really, I feel now, looking back on it, as hard as it was at the time, I feel really blessed to have gone through it. My friends, family, and husband kind of picked me up and walked me through it, if that's the best way to describe it. And when I say that, I worked all the way through. I worked from the hospital bed. And people would look at me and they're like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Mm-hmm.
And me, that kept my mind busy, and it kept my mind positive.
Yeah.
That this wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Like, surgery after like chemo, radiation, the whole 9 yards. And it's like my friends, family, and husband just kind of made all the noise go away during that time of my life. And when I say the noise go away, we as moms, as partners, as daughters and friends, feel like we need to do everything, right?
Yeah.
We just, okay, who picked up dinner? Who's cleaning vegetables? Who's feeling what?
Yes.
All of those little simple things. You want to make sure that my kids are eating healthy. My husband doesn't order pizza 4 times a week, but you don't have enough energy to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was, again, very, very blessed in the sense that everybody around me just kind of made it happen. They filled my freezer full of food. Mark just pulled it together as best he could.
Well, because they're dealing with stuff too, because they're like scared, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think it was easier for me than it was for them.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here, I'm like getting emotional, because I'm thinking, yeah, because it's like, because they just love you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It still is. It's one of those, during, I just do what I got to do, right? It's just easier to plug through. After, I started to, after all the treatments, your hair starts to grow back. You start to get a little bit of strength back. I found that's more of when the wheels started to fall off. Like it was like, and then now even like year 2-ish after, it's not like, okay, now I'm feeling a bit better. You're never the same.
Right.
You're never the same. I'll never have energy back. I'll never get my body back. Like those things are really kind of hard to wrap your head around and just move on. do the best you can with what you got.
Right. Yeah. And, and dealing with those changes and saying like, how can I continue to do self-care? So, because I think it's like maybe too, when you're not feeling good, then you're like, okay, I have so much to catch up on. I have to do all these things because I couldn't do them. You put pressure on yourself for those sorts of things?
I'm actually pretty good with that. My family would probably have a different answer. But I usually just plug through and I get it done. No matter how tired I am, I ignore the challenge, the physical challenge, and just plug through. And for me, so much is mobile, like to organize and to even organize my family, things like that. We unfortunately had to hire out a lot of the things in around the house, things like that. But I feel blessed to be able to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put a whole lot of pressure on myself for that.
Good.
Other than I wanted to be able to stay up late and share a bottle of wine with my friend. Like, stuff like that. That was my thing. And by like 8:00, I'm like, sorry, man. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. So you have like afternoon bottles of wine then instead.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
I was thinking about something too, going, so do you have a self-care routine now? Like, is there something that you're going like that you like to do, but to say just for you, not even necessarily daily, but on a regular basis?
I would say my self-care is a little different than the average. I mean, most people say yoga, I like to go and be alone or I like to read books, and
Mm-hmm.
I find myself doing those things, but not as committed to them.
Mm-hmm.
My self-care, I would have to say, is that feeling of balance in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to take the time to do more of what I love. And so after this whole illness, I was pretty good before the illness, but after, and now that I'm still kind of plugging through it, I figured out kind of what makes me tick. And that balance, kind of like being able to help my friends, family, and clients, that's what makes me tick. Like it makes me feel good to bring that, my positive perspective to the world.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And now is really my sense of adventure. I used to I was so focused on getting everything done and making sure everything was perfect. And now I'm just like, we'll get there.
Yeah.
like my recent trip. Like
yes.
She called me like the day before. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And hopped on a plane the next day. It was unbelievable. So glad I did it. And I'm thankful that I had Mark to kind of figure everything out on the other end. Okay, bye. See you in 4 days.
That's so exciting. Like just a thrill. Yeah. So what did you do? What did you do for 4 days? Where were you?
We went out west on a motorcycle. Never been on a motorcycle in my life. So flew out to Calgary. A friend of mine bought a motorcycle there, bought a Harley there. And then my brother met us. Yeah. And then my brother, so just the three of us did the whole trip around, down from Montana all the way up through Banff and Jasper and back.
Yeah. Well, for never being on a motorcycle, you rocked those chaps. I'm going to tell you, I saw your pictures on Facebook and I'm like, girl, you look so, I'm like, she's like professional rider up in there.
Didn't I look bad? I know.
Those pictures though, like breathtaking.
Yeah. So those are some of the major things that really stand out in my mind when you say self-care. It's doing what sets you on fire, right?
Yes.
Adventure,
yes.
Doing something you've never done lights me up.
Oh, I have goosebumps. Yes. Because I'm like, preach, because it's exactly how I feel about self-care. I'm like, people put rules around self-care. It just makes me cranky because I'm like, self-care is so personal. And it's like, you have to figure out what does self-care mean for you. And then you have to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I got off my soapbox a little bit. I can't make any promises. So how did, like, when you left, did you feel guilty where you're just like, I'm going, that's it? Like, do you feel guilt? Like, maybe do you have guilt from before, or like, did you feel guilty before your illness, or are you any different, I think is my question, than you were before?
Strangely enough, no.
Good.
Like, I mean, it's a typical answer for a woman to say, yes, I did. Like, I left him hanging. I really don't put that pressure on myself. I don't, I've worked so hard to have capable kids, to have a capable husband, to have my thank God for my parents, and my friends. They all just kind of, we've built, and I know you had mentioned community. It takes a village, right? We've built this community that there's always somebody to call. And I think it's because we've always worked so hard to help others that it's just like, it makes doing things so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you want to go somewhere, hey, I can call a friend, hey, can you pick my boys up? Or I got to work late, or it's just always yes. So I very rarely have limitations like that, other than my own I put on myself, obviously, because I want to be everywhere.
And I think that answers that community question beautifully, because like that is community, right? And it takes a village. That like we've gotten so far away from that, and we some people, and myself included, from time to time, we have these mindset like, I can do everything by myself and I got this, and it's like, I got this, but I need a shit ton of help. Like I need community, I need support in my life. That's how I can do what I do.
Yeah, I've figured out that asking for things, like asking for help, whether it be a friend or your parents or your husband, whatever it is, your kids, it makes them feel good too.
Yeah.
It does, because and look at it from the flip side. When a friend calls me and says, hey, can you pick my kids up? Or, hey, what do you think of this? Can you? Yeah, I'll be right there. It fills me up. So why wouldn't it do that on the flip side?
Exactly. Yes.
It just brings asking for help brings everybody together.
Yes. Preach. Go. I love that. Yes. It's so true. So true. We've gotten away from it. And I think it's like, let's bring it back, like bringing that back. And then knowing that we can count on people too. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think there'll always be people that you can count on, and others that may be full up in their life at the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people can only handle so much at certain periods of time.
Totally. You're just dropping bombs on me now, like just tons of wisdom bombs. Thank you. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Like, it's just, it's so true. So like you've been doing, like, you just recently, went out west, and you're just telling me this morning, like, our kids are out of school now for the summer. And so like, what's kind of next for you? What's coming up for you over the next, I call them themes. So like things that kind of pop up or things that you're experiencing, but like, what do you feel like is in your path coming up for you?
We have a lot on the go. I've got that. We've got a lot on the go. And like I said, so everything went kind of paused in 2016. So now I'm kind of picking my pieces back up and getting that office put together, helping the kids every day, making them competent little, outstanding little men is what I'm trying to do, which is energy sucking.
Yeah.
And then continuing to keep balance. So I guess that the themes coming for me is work is a big part of it. It always has been. I am president of my real estate association, the Windsor Essex, coming into this year. So it was one of those things when I was asked to participate, in whether it's something that I think I could do. Well, with that, for me, I say yes because I've never done it, right? And these are anything I've never done, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I'll figure it.
Yes. Yes.
With that comes a whole bunch of challenges as well. Just learning seminars, how to lead an organization, all of those little things. that I didn't necessarily put into my daily life, but it has enhanced it so much. Meeting people. Now I'm meeting people across the country. The networking I'm now able to do is awesome. With that, it means a little bit more time away from my family though. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's clear, right? Like when you talk about it, like when you're talking about these things, it's just really lighting you up. So
yeah.
I have a question, and this is just my own, I don't totally understand realty. So you're building an office. Are you like, it's your real estate business that you run, or are you with a company? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, no, I'll continue to work with Remax.
Okay.
Remax Preferred. So under Remax Preferred is the brokerage, and then no, the actual physical building will just be it's been my lifelong dream to just, and people ask me this all the time, and they're like, well, why do you want an office? Everything's so mobile. It's more than that. It's when people want to meet and I want to give them an outstanding service and make them feel comfortable. Sometimes meeting in their home is not always comfortable. I know that sounds odd to say, or they need to be somewhere else. So that's what that comfortable space for me is, and that's why it's always been my dream to have that. It's to have people come in and whether it's sit down and have a coffee, enjoy a glass of wine with me, feel comfortable that they can trust me with their biggest investment of their life. And sometimes if they need to meet outside of their home, make them feel comfortable in that. They don't want their neighbors to know. Who knows? I mean, there's tons of reasons people need to sell their real estate. So that's always been. And then for me, my community involvement, my physical community involvement, like with like the BIA and things like that, somewhere to meet for them.
So what's your role on the BIA? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep, no, that's okay. Just a board member.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love, like, you guys do the Stroll the Streets in Belle River or in Lakeshore. What is it? One Friday a month for the spring and summer?
Each year we've done it a little bit different because we picked kind of dates at different times. But it is awesome seeing the community come together. Like, I love it. I'm actually looking forward to this weekend too, the whole Canada Day at the beach. We're so fortunate to live here, and I guess there's so many people that are moving here from the city or from out of town, from across the country, from Toronto area, and they want to live in Lakeshore. So it's super cool to show them what we have to offer. It's things like you and I, who have lived here our whole lives, often take for granted. We've come a long way, and it's so rewarding to be a part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love all the things they're doing because it makes me think too, I'm like, we didn't have super fun things like this when we were young. Like, we had like one festival once a year that was kind of, I would say, haphazard at best. And now it's just awesome. Like, I love how you close the streets down and everyone walks around, and that's huge community building. It's beautiful.
What we need is people who are willing to bring their ideas together, people who are willing to be a part, and it's just, and that's when all of these cool ideas just explode. So, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time. It doesn't need to take a lot of energy when everybody comes together. So that's kind of like this whole Stroll the Streets things. It's one small group of people is not doing the roll up your sleeves kind of work. It's who wants to participate, and they all come together. It's awesome. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's well promoted, and like everyone shares it and talks. It's just, everything I've heard has just been, I've been twice. It was raining, but everyone was still out there. It was cold and it was raining, and it was like the streets were still like lined with people. It was great.
Nobody knew what to do. Are we canceling this? Are we not canceling this? What are we doing? When we cancel it, where do we go? We got a better plan now. Don't worry.
Oh, it was good. It was still really good. And I thought, I need to, because I'm in Amherstburg now, but like, I need to like make more of a point coming out for those events. Mm-hmm. I think that it's nice. And running into tons of people you haven't probably seen, at least all winter, because nobody gets out in the winter, right?
Yeah,
unless they're at the
yeah.
rink.
Amherst is beautiful too. I love that town.
I know it's hard because my heart's here in Amherstburg now, but my whole family, as you probably know, still lives in Belle River, and it's like, anyway.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Good.
I was thinking like about when you were talking, going back a little bit to your story, and, did you, like, are you into, like, it sounds to me probably, I think I know the answer to this, but like into personal development. So like, it sounds like you're always working on yourself and, going to seminars and growing and learning. And like, I have a huge passion for like some like books, whether like reading and saying like, what are you getting out of books? So I was curious if you had, a favorite book, if you can if you like to read or you get inspiration from reading, if there's something that you love and would recommend.
Yeah, I love books. It is one of my challenges to read more because I don't take that time. So I read a lot online. And one of the best self-help books, and I'm only like barely through it right now because my mom actually just bought it for me. She had read it, and it's called Life Lessons. This is kind of, hang on, I got it here.
Awesome.
It was this sounds kind of morbid, but it's a really good read. It's called Life Lessons, and it says death and dying teaches us about the mysteries of life and living. So, and I don't want to, the morbid part is it's about death and dying. It's not, and that's not what kind of attracts me to it. Yeah. It's about accepting that life could change tomorrow and living your life to the fullest now. So there's some pretty, it's a really light read with just like small kind of thought provokers, which is more me because I think I have adult ADD. I can't make it through like a book ever.
Yeah, me too.
I just like thought provokers. So that is definitely one of my faves among many.
Awesome. I'll post that one in the comments too. Because I love reading. I listen to audiobooks because same with you, like I don't make enough time to physically read a book, but I commute a bit, so I do a lot of audiobooks. So
yeah, I do that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'll have to check that one out. That sounds, I agree. I think that's a huge catalyst in saying like, how can we focus on living our best lives? So it's amazing. So I'm going to put the book in the comments, and then I'm going to put all your contact information in the comments, but thought, how is the best way that somebody could get a hold of you if they want to learn more about like what you do in real estate or the BIA, or they just want to reach out because they've been through treatment? Oh, you know what? I'm going to pause. I'm hitting pause. Pause. Okay. Nope. Because I was meaning to ask you, and I can't believe I forgot to write it down, but you did an amazing video about your journey too. And I was really curious about, because I watched it and I'm sure you got such an incredible, loving response from the community. And what motivated you to do that? What was your initial driver to say, I want to do this?
So that's a great question because this kind of leads into a lot. That video, when I was first diagnosed, I swore the world to secrecy. So it was, I don't want pity. I don't want, like, I don't want people. I don't want people showing up. I just didn't want, and my biggest fear was I didn't want it to affect my business. Mm. Like all of a sudden, everybody, you're sick. You're sick. Don't call her. She's got a lot on her plate. We're going to, well, then there's so much that would spin off of that, right? And then all of a sudden, my business spins out of the awesome momentum that I've worked so hard to build. So I swear everybody to secrecy. So I made it darn near everything without, at least with very few people knowing, maybe a few small rumors, but I mean, without it being widespread. But then I'm like, okay, well, now people are going to see, I'm going to take this wig off eventually. And then everybody's going to have questions. So why not just throw it out there, answer the question. So once I had, I guess my game back, I didn't want them to feel like I wasn't focused. I wasn't focused on mostly work and pity. That was probably the bigger of the two.
Yeah.
And I was completely beside myself on the response. Like I wasn't expecting that, like at all. It was more or less my way of just telling the world without repeating myself 1,000 times. That was kind of my thought. Yeah. And then what had happened with it, it was just so heartwarming and unbelievably huge.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful video that you did too. Like, you know,
really good.
Yeah.
It was tough just being behind a camera, even doing this. This is a perfect example of pushing myself outside my comfort zone. That's what kind of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is what makes me tick.
Oh, I'm glad I asked then. I'm glad I'm pushing you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think that's, you know, and I'm certain, I don't know for sure, but I'm certain that it's helped other people as well. Did you get people reaching out for that too?
Yes, actually, I got some. Yeah, actually, you know what? More than I was expecting. That kind of, you know, I went through it, or they'd send me books and things like that. I was kind of really strong throughout the whole thing, so I wasn't the one that kind of needed consoling.
Yeah.
Other people asking questions because they went through it. It's really hard because everybody's journey is so different. Their challenges are so different that some people want to talk about it and some people really don't. I was one of those girls that didn't really, I don't mind throwing it out there. It doesn't bother me to talk about it, but it's not something that I felt I needed to heal.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's journey is different, and I think it's private to them too. Going like how they handle it is what feels good for them. So yeah, no, I get that. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, good. I'm glad I asked. Oh my God, I would have been like, I would have got off of this, and I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot. But okay, like just in the nick of time, just as I was wrapping it up. But thanks for sharing that extra piece. It was wonderful. And so if people want to get in touch with you, how would they go ahead and do that? And I'll post anything I'll add it to the comments as well.
I am available. I'm a little too available. I'm available every venue out there, whether it be email, text, Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp. Like that's what I'm a little too available. And answer it all. Really, it's a job hazard. It's good though. It's good though. It's amazing how connected the world is.
And I think sorry.
I said, or as connected as you want to be.
Well, that's just it too. But I also think that we can use those forums for good, right? And collaborate and connect, and not use them for the forces of good and not evil.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Tina. This was really fun. I'm so glad that you agreed, that you're willing to jump on and do this with me today.
I love the initiative. You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will. Yeah. So we'll see each other on Stroll the Streets then.
For sure. You got it.
Awesome. Okay. Have a good day. We'll talk soon, Tina. Thanks.
Thanks, Jess. Take care.
Bye.